Hi, Nathan and Glenn. Oceana here with G3 Agency with your free website audit for Averon Construction in Houston, Texas. In this free SEO website audit provided by G3 Agency, I'm going to show you 3 to 4 things that you can do to get Averon Construction in front of the people who are searching for construction services in the Houston area. Like I said on the phone, I don't expect anything in return for this video. I'm really trying to help as many locally owned and family owned type businesses as I can this year. So this is my sort of way of putting out good karma into the world and doing my part, using my expertise that I've gathered over the last decade and just doing my best to help as many people as I can. And of course, you can think of this as a business card with oomph, in that, if you're looking for someone who can help with these things, we can always talk about, a possible partnership going forward, talk about your business goals and how my team operates, and see if it makes sense for a partnership to form going forward. But let's go in. Let's just jump right in. I don't want to waste any more of your time or mine, so let's do this. So the first thing that I noticed actually when I got to your site is this strange sort of it doesn't show everything, and in fact, I have to basically zoom out a bunch in order to see this here. So there's definitely an issue going on with the layout. But you do have your phone number listed here, which is nice. I would definitely make sure that this phone number is within the view of the site, because it should be visible when you're at 100% here, and it's not. And then I would also make this a click to call phone number. That's going to increase the amount of people that actually call after landing on your site. Now that's really the last thing I'm going to say about userability when it comes to the website and how it looks and all that kind of stuff. Because most of my efforts are actually, my expertise are in getting people to the website to begin with. This is all, that's all sort of user experience, and I do have a bit of experience with that, but my main focus is on getting people to the website to begin with so that they even know who you are. The next thing would be content. How many words are on the page? And oh my gosh, that is such a pretty bathroom. I love it. Anyways, and that one too. Oh my goodness. Anyways, sorry, I'm going to try to focus here. So how many words are on the page, and are they relevant, right? Do they properly talk about what you do, who you do it for, how you do it, where you do it, right? So those are all going to be things you want to include so that Google understands what you're doing, and that they can see that you're an expert in your field, and that's going to help you show up in front of the people looking for your services. So definitely increasing the amount of words on your homepage is going to help. And then if I right click on an image and I click save as, oh wait, no, just kidding, not save as. If I right click on an image and click save image as, which I am not seeing here, so I'm going to try to find an image that's saved properly. Gallery. If I right click, save image as, there we go. I can see this image was saved as this random string of numbers. Now that isn't helping. So what you want to do, instead of this missed opportunity here, what you want to do is actually resave all these images, but this time you want to re-upload them, but save them as key phrases that people are actually typing into Google when they're looking for your services in the Houston area. And I'll show you not only how I find those images, those phrases, and how I know that they're being searched, but also I'll show you a few that you'd be interested in using on your site. So when I put your website into this tool called Ahrefs, this is what I get. This tool gives me an in-depth look into how a website's performing, because in my world, it's one thing for a website to look pretty, which yours does. It's a beautiful website. It's very pretty design. But it's a whole other thing for it to actually function as a lead generation machine, which I can tell it is not doing by looking at these, by looking at these numbers here. So there's a few very important metrics I'd like to point out to you. First is your UR score. This is how trustworthy Google thinks that your web page is. The specific one being your home page right now, since that's the one that I put in. And then your DR score is that same thing, but for your entire website as a whole. These are not terrible numbers. They're low, but fairly normal for when I'm doing a website audit. Especially before I've actually worked with someone. This is a fairly This is normal. But you do want to increase them because normal is not getting you a bunch of traffic. It's not getting you a bunch of new customers, right? You want to be above normal. Now, how you raise these scores is with backlinks and referring domains. So a backlink is any link that goes from another website back to yours. Nathan, you probably are already aware of this. Glenn, you may not be. So a backlink is any link that goes from another website that goes back to your website, and a referring domain is any website that has at least one of those links on it. So you've got currently 27 websites out there on the internet somewhere pointing to your site a total of 528 times. And you do want to increase this amount, but you want to be careful as you're increasing it that you're getting links from sites that are both relevant and trustworthy. So you want to have these referring domains having DR scores that are like 30 and above. And then you want to make sure that they're logical in that, you know, they're related to you in some way, whether that's because it's a website for another business that's also in the Houston area, or if it's another business that does the same things you do but in another area, right? If you can draw a logical conclusion as to how those websites are related, then that, you know, that'll be good. Now I'm going to check out your domains, and it looks like you're doing a pretty good job of having high domain rating for the sites that you're getting your backlinks from. So that's good. You're actually doing a fairly decent job. You have a lot, I think that the main issue here is that you have a lot of no follow links rather than do follow links. So these no follow links, they might have really good power, but they're not sharing that credibility with you. So they're not really that great of backlinks, even though they look nice. Over here you can see that they're not actually sharing their power with you. So that's the reason that you're not really seeing much effect from those. Okay, so now if we get into the keywords, well, this is where I really shine. I really love keyword research. I know it's silly, but I could stay up. I have stayed up way too late just like looking up different keywords online. So it's silly, but this is what I love. So I put in Houston into my Keywords Explorer on this tool, Ahrefs. I put in Houston, and then I cross-referenced that with anything that had to do with concrete, building, builders, remodeling, and all that kind of stuff. So this is what I got. There are 4 things that come to mind or that I look for when I'm looking for a good keyword. And those 4 things are something that you do, somewhere that you do it, a high volume, and a low KD. So I'll explain each of those aspects. Something that you do and somewhere you do it, obviously that's going to narrow down who, you know, what this searcher is actually looking for. So if they're looking for custom home builder, but they don't specify Houston, well, then they could be in New York or Los Angeles or in Wisconsin. Who knows where they could be if they don't have Houston specifically in there, right? Or the area. And then if they just type in Houston and they don't type in like home builder or something else, like they just type in the word Houston, well, obviously they're just looking for like information about Houston in general. They're not really your specific audience. So those 2 are very important. They're a little more obvious though than the volume and KD. So I'll go over that. Volume is how many people are typing this exact phrase spelled this way, character for character, each month. And then KD stands for keyword difficulty. And it's basically how difficult does this tool, Ahrefs, think it would be to get to the first page of Google for that word. You would think 54 out of 100 is extremely low. Like if that was your grade in school, you'd be failing for sure. But 54 is actually quite high. It's a lot higher than we like to go after. 28 feels like a little bit more in reach for like me and my team who have been doing it. Like this is a number we would go after for the long term because it takes a lot longer to get to the front page of Google if the score is like up here like this. However, a lower score like this 3 down here, you'd be able to get to the first page of Google a lot faster. Now, none of it's going to happen overnight. Even if this KD was a 0, and I put, I put that keyword on my home page and on my other pages, and I put it into the images and everything. That still wouldn't happen overnight. It's just, it doesn't work like that. With this method, it's called search engine optimization. What you're doing is building a trust with Google, and you're building a friendship with Google. It's a friendship between your website and Google, right? And that's going to take a while to form. So just don't expect any of this to happen super quickly. But that's why this one, even though there are almost 2,000 people searching for custom home builder Houston, and it would be great to be on the first page for that, it's simply not very realistic in the short term, meaning, within this next 6 months to a year. But down here, we have some quicker wins. So bathroom remodeling in Houston, even though that's a much smaller job, you're not going to be making nearly as much from a bathroom remodel as you would for a home rebuild, but you could handle a lot more of them. And there are still 800 people searching for that every month. So, I mean, you definitely couldn't handle 800 remodeling jobs in Houston area every month. That would be ridiculous, right? So showing up for that would be great. You would have more than enough work, but you may not want to focus on remodeling in just the bathrooms. So I went with kitchen remodeling Houston. It's got a similar amount of people searching for it every month. It's got a decent KD. It's not going to be terribly difficult to show up for that word. And a kitchen remodeling job is more likely to bring in a lot more revenue, and it's more likely to turn into like, oh, well, let's throw in a bathroom and maybe both of the bathrooms, and maybe I want to redo my master bedroom, and that kind of thing is more likely to happen. I know from just my experience working with other remodelers. So this is the reason I chose to focus on this for the rest of the video here. And what you're going to want to do is actually do what I'm doing for the rest of this video for each of your key phrases that you want to show up for, to get a good idea of what you're up against. So this is what we get when we type in kitchen remodeling Houston, which is what 600 people are doing every month in the United States, well, specifically the Houston area. You're going to have the first organic result here is this spot right here is going to get about 30% of all of the search results. So like of all the 600 people that come to this site, about 180 of them are going to be clicking on this one result here. So that's why we want to compare you to them. And basically what we're going to do is go, why is it that they're showing up for this word here? What is it that they're doing right that we could also do in order to show up? And I can see right now they have a lot of content on their page, so we're going to want to outdo them, right? We want to do even more content than they did. And then also, if I right click on an image and I click save image as, I can see if they're taking advantage of those images. And I can see that they kind of are. They've got the right idea. They're throwing, words in here instead of just numbers and letters. But they're still not this isn't one of those key phrases that we saw were being searched. So it's not perfect, and we could definitely outdo them in that way as well. And then if I go over to Ahrefs, I can see they've got pretty good trust scores with Google, both for their exact page and for their entire site as a whole. And that's because they've been throwing backlinks and referring domains to their site. Now, this is for this exact page for this one, because we're not doing their home page and their whole site. We're just doing this one. So they've got a lot more backlinks and referring domains than this for their entire site. But this is for this one page that we want to beat out. So it's not going to be terribly difficult to do. It's going to take some work, but if you wanted to show up on the first page of Google, you'd want to be going for these kinds of numbers here. Okay, well, that is the end of my presentation. I really appreciate you spending this 15 minutes watching this video, and I hope that it helps you in some way. And I really hope that you'll come back to me with some feedback on whether I was helpful, if I talked too fast, or if there's anything that you wish I would have covered a little bit more in depth, then please let me know. I would love to have that information so that I can make these even better for the people who I help tomorrow. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.